the quality of the management team is very vital. Okay. And in India, unfortunately, we've always been thinking of promoters in a different way.
Right.
We don't look at separation of ownership and management.
Right.
Okay. I would urge you to think in those terms where there is separation. There may not actually be separation of ownership and management, but let's look at management teams, because there are many companies in which there are outstanding management teams who may not be promoters and who have delivered brilliantly. So I feel that I would give very high weightage to management quality when I'm looking for these attributes. For these attributes, the management quality makes all the difference. It's not just the business design. And if the management quality is right, then they will take care of the business design. If there is a flaw in the business design, then they will amend that.
Okay. So is this in a way different from what Warren Buffett says when the reputation of the business is at odds with the reputation of the management? It is the reputation of the business that supersedes. Is it different from that?
No, I wouldn't say it is different from that, because he also said that, he said that at a time when the pace of change and the volatility globally was very different. In today's volatile, uncertain world, right? Where you have dynamic variables changing at such a rapid pace and scale, I think management quality is the number one variable, because it is the management quality which will navigate the scenarios.
In any case, I think your first condition that the mega trends, all of this has to fall within your umbrella of mega trends where you have tailwinds. So you're already taking the business aspect, I guess.
Yes, the business aspect in terms of the business environment, right? But the business design and the business architecture is still important.
Sure.
So,
understood.
When I say that the management quality is important, I'm not belittling the importance of the quality of business design and business architecture.
Right.
But I'm saying that if there is a flaw in business design and business architecture, then the management teams will adapt and pivot as necessary.
Right.
But that is only if the management teams are high quality management team.
Right. So have you ever invested in a company where you haven't met the promoter? What does that scenario really look like?
See, to make real long-term investments,
you need to
meet the management. And I again prefer using the word management team rather than the word promoter.
Right.
Because in many cases, management teams are not promoters. And even where promoters are the management team, I look at them as the management team more than the promoters. While we've talked about all of this, let me also use one or two other important parameters which determine, even if you get all of these attributes right, if your capital allocation and capital structure is flawed, you will end up destroying value. So the construct that I have in my mind is that the right management team will also take care of capital allocation and capital structure.
So are there any guardrails that you think about this? You said that when you say management, it is actually the executing management. But you also consider the promoter, if he is running the business, as very much part of the management. Fair enough. But in the end, the capital allocation decision rests with the promoter, right? Like in a promoter owner managed entity. So where do you get that confidence? And there have been so many cases where, everything's going right. And then the promoter decides that they'll put money into a new business and then it spectacularly fails. Is there anything that you think about, some questions that you ask Is that a candid conversation with the promoter so that gives you a reassurance that you are going to stay in this business? Is all of that conversation, how does it go?
See, Mahalakshmi, everybody has a track record. Everybody has a history, right?
So that history is important.
That history is important. You are able to recognize prudence as a mindset of the management team and or the promoter, as the case may be. You are also able to recognize how they think about risk based on the actual decisions taken over a very long period of time, right? So even if you want to experiment, you will experiment it in such a way that risk is mitigated. That if you fail, fail fast.
Right.
And fail in such a manner that you can bear the cost of failure. Unfortunately, so it's not just, the perception that experimentation is wrong is not correct. Businesses and management teams must experiment. But they should do it in a way where risk is calibrated, risk is mitigated, and if required, fail fast.